Hi, John. Faith, how you doing? Hi, Tife. John, it's good to see you. Mrs. Sparkles, good to see you. Hi, Sister Ibiron Care of the Lord Most High. Good to see you. Welcome. You will not look for us, so. Hi, Faith. Welcome. Dami Babe, Sheyi Ola Teju. Ola Remy. Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to see you guys again. Thanks for joining. I always forget to pin the topics. I'm going to try to do that real quick. Good evening, sis. It's good to see you. Try to quickly do that. Singles make. Oh, autocorrect saying assign news. Singles make. This autocorrect can be so smart and so dull at the same time. Before getting, I think you're supposed to correct, you're not correct. Pardon me, guys. The topic is now long, interrelationship. All right, there we go. That's the topic. And it's pinned. There we go. Kemi Brito. Hi. Kemi, how are you doing? You are special to me in a way that you might not understand currently. And yeah, I don't know that I even really know you right now, but you're special. Just know that. Mide, my girl, good to see you. Okay, thank you guys for coming. I hope you've had a great day, a good week, and you are off to the start of a good weekend. All right, so as those of you who've watched the last two lives know, keeping this short and sharp. In 20-30 minutes, we're done. In about 20 minutes, I should be done. But I'll leave room for questions relating to what I'm talking about, or anything relationship-wise at all. Better still, please feel free to get my book. Send me a DM to order my book. It's called 0 to 10 Reasons You Might Be Wrong About Mr. Right. I don't know if you can see in the back shelf. That's it over there, looking pretty. Yeah, or you can send me a DM. We can talk. You can book a session. I'm available. All right. So today we're talking about five mistakes young ladies make, or singles. Hi, EMG. Good to see you. Right, so singles making before getting into a relationship. So this is before the relationship starts, not in the relationship or during or after the relationship. And again, this is not an encyclopedia or a symposium discussion. So I'm only going to talk about 5, even though there may be more. But these are the ones I find recurring more, or the ones that really get to me a lot. All right, so mistake in no particular order. Number 1, nobody has actually told me how they are. While you're listening, please tell me how you are. I actually want to know. So just type something. Tell me your day has been good. You're fine. Let me also know you can hear me. Hi, Petra. Let me know you can hear me. And let me know how you're doing. Because I can see people coming in. Okay, so I've seen EMG's comment. Right, awesome. Okay, great. I'm fine. I'm good. Thanks for asking. Fatima, my endless love, Fatima. Okay, beautiful. Fantastic. I see the comments now. Awesome. All right, so mistake number 1 is the obvious one. You're tired. Oh, so sorry. Hope you're home or almost home and you don't have anywhere important that you have to leave your house early for. Sorry. Ola Remy, you're fine. The day has been cool. Awesome. Love to hear it. All right. So number 1 is obviously I'm fine, Didi. I'm so fine. It's good to see you again. Thanks for reconnecting. Favor. I'm about to say it's not you I'm asking, but yeah. Greetings to thee as well. I'm fine. I'm fantastic. Thank you guys so much for asking. Everybody, welcome. All right, is getting into the relationship too fast? The truth about it is, I know this sounds like a broken record. I know we say it a lot, but this is the fact. It still happens. And people are like, oh, what might be fast to you might not be fast for me. What really determines fast, apart from time, that is something we also have to consider. What determines fast is also how much you know this person, how ready this person is for a relationship or marriage, or how ready you are. So I, for example, maybe I don't mean me now, but somebody me, random, might be in a friendship for 3 months and be sure, okay, I know I want to get married. I know this person wants to get married. I know that our purposes are similar. I know that there are no major cultural differences. We can do this. I look at other parameters. I don't want to get into my next point. And I say, okay, we can do this. And so in 3 months, I'm like, okay, let's do this. But for somebody else, you are green when it comes to relationships. You know nothing about relationships. You haven't listened to anything. You haven't read anything. You're just beginning to go for seminars. You're just getting to even know yourself. Maybe you're a young 21-year-old or an 18-year-old or even a young 25-year-old. Because you know how it is, some people are really smart with their books. They are really spiritual, but they don't understand human psychology. They don't know how to work under pressure. They don't know how to be selfless. So basic things, for example, like with me, very basic stuff. I never went to boarding house. So I have some issues even till now with living communally. I struggled when I went for NYC camp. So out of 3 weeks, I only managed to do like 11 days, maybe 9, right? And half of that, I was always hiding in one place or the other. I have issues with that. Till tomorrow, when I go to my tailor, I have to send her out. When she comes, if she needs to help me zip up, I must have zipped up to a particular point, then I can call her in. I'm not just comfortable with communion like that. So there are some things that you might not just be ripe for. And so getting into a relationship will just confuse you and frustrate you and confuse and frustrate the person that you want to be with. You need to understand that there are stages of courtship, or there are stages before you get into a relationship. I remember Pastor Bimbo teaching that, hi Banker, Pastor Bimbo teaching that your first acquaintances, your strangers, right? I know some of you have already been friends with this person, but walk with me. You're strangers, you haven't met this person before, so it's hello and hi. And then you go into casual friends, right? And then you become close friends, and then you become intimate friends, which is when you now start declaring a lot of liking for yourselves. But a lot of times people jump from acquaintance to close friends. Excuse me. And everything that is in between casual friends and close friends, they fast forwarded so much that they become so dizzy, they don't know how they really got here. Timmy Lola, please DM me after this, please. I really need to speak to you. It's good to see you. Thank you, Favor. Right, so please do not rush. Relationships are not going anywhere. Thank you so much, Olaremi. Relationships are not going anywhere. If this person likes you and wants to get to know you, then this person should chill and actually get to know you. You don't want to come across as desperate. You don't want to come across as needy. You don't want to come across as thirsty. You don't want to come across as naive. You don't want to be used. You don't want to be taken for granted. You want to make sure you're doing things right. Last 2 lives, we read a couple of scriptures from Proverbs, and one of them says, anxiety in a man's heart weighs him down. Another one said that the person who is righteous in God has holy confidence. So we are not desperate. We are not foolish. We are not naive. We are not weighed down because we are anxious and so we want to get into something so fast. I remember also quoting a scripture that said, he who makes haste will surely fall into destruction. Now, destruction has a large spectrum. Destruction might be as little as, after 2 weeks it didn't work, you just feel like I wasted my time. Or as wide as you've been in the relationship for 7 years and realized that you were just barking up the wrong tree. So you want to take your time. You don't have to start dating after a month. If it takes 2 months, if it takes 3 months, now what are you supposed to be doing while in that timeline? I'll touch on some of those things, right? But do not rush it. Don't meet her in a week or two and say, oh, we're not talking every night. And you see, because when you start talking every night, when you start sending messages so often, when your phone rings and you're hoping it's her number, it's number that comes up, you're already getting entangled. And it's possible that your judgment is being suspended, being confused, being diffused, being polluted, being tainted, something. Don't bring yourself too close. Restrain yourself. Give yourself some standards. Give yourself some boundaries. Give yourself some non-negotiables. Talking to the person every day, I'm not ahead of myself, but don't do that. Proximity will always breed intimacy. Proximity will always breed intimacy, because there are times when I've been in that situation, and I think it was NYC camp actually, where there was a guy that I felt I could relate with. Out of the high Kende, Mrs. A, the thousands of people there, he was the only person I felt was on my wavelength in more than one dimension, right? And so, hi Frances. So we're talking often, we'll be on parade ground together, we'll go for lunch together, go and charge our phone at Mommy Market together, we noticed that we had some mutual acquaintances and all. And I realized that I started catching feelings. And of course, he was catching feelings. And I'm like, okay, but so do you know you really don't like this guy? If I was anyhow, things would have happened at that camp. And maybe we'll have had a conversation and just be like, okay, maybe it was just what it was and let's move on. But I'd have felt so bad about myself. Hi, Bukenzo. Good evening. Right? So take your time. Do not rush. Don't come across as thirsty, desperate, anxious. Right? Next thing is something that is almost becoming my mantra. I did a video on it a couple of days ago. You do not get into a relationship to get to know the person. You get to know the person, then you decide if you can go into a relationship with this person. I see this mistake too many times. Too many times. It happens too much. So you see that this person is nice, this person goes to your church, or this person follows your online mentor, or this person has read some books you've read, this person throws some scriptures in your face. Yes, Uyi, I'm going to save this so you can watch it again. I'll save it, Uyi. Thanks. So the person just throws some nice scriptures. The person just, oh, I just bought my mom hasn't been feeling well. I'm going to spend some time with her in the hospital. And like, oh, boys of nowadays are still going to stay with their mom in the hospital. He even stayed overnight. Oh my God, this is how he's going to take care of me. Fam, calm all the way down. Get to know the person. That is just one out of many things. And if you don't give yourself time, you're not going to see this person in enough circumstances. You cannot pick on 1, 2, 3 things. Listen, even if they are core things. So for someone like me, confidence is core, your faith is core, and purpose, where are we going? Are we speaking? Are we doing ministry? Core. But my husband checked all those 3 boxes. But we still, so all the way down. But we still courted, we still were friends for 1 year, 1 full year, before we started courting officially, and then we courted for 5 years. Yeah, I don't think I'll do that again. But we courted for 5 years after being friends for 1 whole year. Hi Titi, good evening, welcome. So you need to get to know. You need to get to know. You see, a lot of times we say, oh, I didn't know this person was like this. Yeah, he was. Yeah, she was. But you didn't give it time. And sometimes people say, oh, when you get into marriage, you still see surprises. Maybe they know what they are saying. I guess they do. But for me, I don't think so. I think you would have seen whatever it is the person is manifesting now in a form or format. You would have seen it in a seed form. Things happen in spectrums. The day that someone slaps you, it was on a spectrum. It was on a bad side eye the person gave you one day. I've given that example before about how names withheld. I was with, how do I even phrase it? Let me just say I was with somebody one day, right? A guy who is about 8, 9 years older than me, but we're friends, right? We're friends. It was friends of mutual friends. And we're together one day. We had gone to buy lunch, and then I can't remember what happened. Maybe, and we were cool. I had zero issues with him up until this point. Even till now, I don't have issues with him, but I know where I've placed him in certain regards. And I don't know what happened, whether his spoon fell or he had finished eating and his plate was on the floor, or takeaway pack was on the floor, something like that. Or maybe he spilled his water. I knew it was something to do with what he was eating with. And maybe I was going to drop my... Okay, sorry, I lost you guys for a second. I think I'm back. Hi, Paul. Welcome. And hi, Ife. So I think it was water that poured. Or I was going to throw my own plates, my own takeaway pack in the bin. And he just looked at me and said, aren't you going to pick my own up? So God, you guys, I was stunned. I'm like, pardon? He said, pick it up now. Who is going to pick it up? In my mind, I'm like, you are going to pick it up. I'm like, are you serious? Are you even serious right now? At that point, I knew this guy was going to be a control freak. I knew that he had very strong cultural elements, and that his wife was going to experience that in different ways. And the only way she would survive it if she was a really traditional Yoruba woman as well. I'm like, yeah, I'm not here for this. I'm not here for this. So if there was anything that was supposed to happen between us, cancelled. Nothing was ever going to happen between us, but even if it was cancelled on the spot, it was cancelled. So you need to get to know, because very often people get into relationships, and at the time when it have reached here, that's when they will now see something and like, how do I begin to do my moonwalk? And you now start thinking, oh, I can arrange, I can adjust, I can bypass, I can talk to her, I can talk to him, we can do this, we can do that. And then you're now working extra. The grace, the strength, the wisdom you're supposed to be using to deal with other matters, you will now start dealing with something that was not supposed to be an issue in the first place. Not even supposed to have come up on the plate. It's not supposed to be on the table at all. So please, don't get into a relationship now. Say let's start knowing ourselves better. So we're now going on dates to get to know. We now start asking 101 questions. No, there are certain 101 questions, quote and unquote, you should have asked before. When you now enter the relationship, there are now new relationship level 101 questions to ask. And so another reason people fall into trap 1 and 2 is because people do not get counsel. A lot of people feel counseling is for post-relationship or post-marriage, right? Is your see, enigma. I've been calling you different things in my head, right? Welcome. People think that counseling is for post-relationship, or when you want to do premarital counseling, or when there's a crisis or trouble in the marriage, then you come for counseling. No, I tell people, fine. I think I'm pretty good with premarital counseling, and that's what I do most of the time. But my platform is open for single people, single men and women, people that are not even in relationships, people that are in relationships, right? It's not just for married people or people going through premarital counseling. Because the truth about it, sometimes the success of a relationship is the relationship not happening at all. Huh? Tenny GMA. Okay, now you got me lost. Right? Sometimes the success of a relationship is in that relationship not working out. Do you get this? So I counseled a couple, a dating couple or a courting couple some weeks ago, and it was really painful. They had been together for about 4 years. We had series of counseling sessions, and eventually they had to break it off. That was the best decision for them, at least in this season. So you need to realize that sometimes for you to get the best out of the relationship, you need to get counseling. There's nothing wrong with coming to me for counseling, going to whoever else you want to go to for counseling, just to make sure things are in order. I have a couple of couples now who are married, and I have sessions with them every month. There's nothing wrong with them. I mean, once in a while, some issues arise. But there's nothing wrong with them. They just want to check that they're fine. They just want to ask questions. They just want me to share with them. That is how you get better. The same way you go for extra classes. The same way you go for jam tutorials. The same way you get extra handouts. Even before the exam. Right? The same way you go through your past question papers, even after the exam that you've written, that you can't change anything you've done. You shall be checking, did I write it like this? Did I get it like this? That's the same way you should treat your relationship. Yeah? That's the same way you treat your relationship. Some relationships should never happen. But you don't want to ask. You don't want to get counsel. And sometimes, like I shared today, you go and get counsel from somebody who doesn't know their left from their right. Someone who is making the same mistakes as you, your your guy, or someone who is totally inexperienced. And then when you meet an experienced person, and when people do this thing, it irritates me. I'm asking you questions. I finally dug and dug, because some people don't even volunteer the information. It's me that will not ask, so who is the babe, who is the guy? And they finally decide to share, and I'm asking questions. I'm asking direct questions, and they are giving me like this answer. So does he go to church? Yeah, but because of COVID, he hasn't really been active in on-site, but he joins online. Yeah, it's very good, especially for newlyweds. But even at any point, because sometimes you can just get rusty or become familiar or take things for granted. Monthly, even if it's once a quarter, you need a checkup, right? Whoosh, I usually lose my train of thoughts. Yeah, so I'm asking. I say, oh yeah, he's not in. He goes to online church. Okay, so have you joined him on this online church? Do you see that he's actually going? Well, once in a while he normally tells me, shares one or two things that pastor shares. Yeah, anybody could have gotten that from quotable quotes that they share after service on Instagram. I'm asking you direct questions. Okay, so what job is this babe doing? What's her plan? Does she actually want to be in a relationship? Does she want to get married in the next 1 year? Actually, she's considering that perhaps she will do a master's, and after that, I know she really wants to climb high in her career. Maybe she wants to do a PhD. Okay, so where does that leave this relationship? We're still talking about it. 2 weeks later, we're still talking about it. 1 month later, we're still talking about it. But the relationship is going on. But you don't know if this relationship is hey, Mrs. Amy. So you are not yet sure if this person is going to do PhD. PhD that may take the person out of the country. PhD that may take the person into a different time zone. PhD that may take the person 2, 3, or 4 years. PhD that after the person has done, books, welcome. After the person has done, the person might say, oh, I don't want to come back to Nigeria. I want to stay back here. I've got a good opportunity. You now have to start filing to go and meet the person. Meanwhile, you don't even want to relocate. It now turns to gbasgbos. Then you are filing. They are denying you. The relationship is now becoming something else. But when we're asking you questions, you'll be doing like this. You'll be lying. And I'm like, see, as I'm in my house. By God's grace, almost 9 years married. Happily so. The last foolishness I did in a relationship was when I was 18 years old. I met my husband when I was 18. So every foolishness I did, long time even before how old you are now. So you see the trouble you're about to enter is not even going to affect my personal space. I'll be bothered, I'll be concerned about you. But it's not going to affect my personal peace. It's you it's going to affect. So can you just come clean? Right? So get counsel. Number 4 is that you keep the relationship a secret. And I don't know what it is. People are like, oh, we don't want people in our business. We just want to do our thing, make our plans. I know, especially like, this is not really related. In like with jackpot plans, people keep their jackpot plans until, well, maybe not everybody, a lot of people, until they now message you, oh, I left last week. Oh, my flight is tomorrow night. I'm like, what is this? Why are you just telling me now? Why did you tell me since? Is it that in case it doesn't click, or you don't want village people to come, or what? I don't know what the concept is. But a lot of people do this where even some of their friends don't know that they're in relationships, or a guy is liking them, or they're liking a babe, or they're going out. Whatever it is, maybe it helps in some way, but I think in the long run, it's counterproductive. Your enemies will not hear. So if they now hear, they will now tell Virgin Atlantic not to fly your plane. They will now tell KLM that they are grounded. They will now seize their jet fuel or what? We rate these village people too much, right? But it can be very counterproductive, because when you keep your relationship a secret, like I hinted earlier, the likelihood that you miss certain bits of wisdom that will help you navigate tough terrains in the relationship, because tough terrains will come, right? There's wisdom that you need. See, you don't have all the perspective. Forget all that. Oh, we are friends, we are G's, he understands me, he just gets me, she just gets me. I feel like we've known each other for 20 years. We vibe, we're so similar. Dear, it doesn't matter. You will still hit stormy times. And no matter how cool you are, there's perspective you do not have. They'll call them back in the spirit. There's perspective you do not have. Everybody has a blind side. Everybody. No matter how wise, how graced, how anointed, how spiritual you are, everybody has a blind side that other people can see but the person, himself or herself. So please don't excessively keep your relationship a secret. Tell 1, 2, 3 trusted people that can ask you questions and that you don't have to lie to. Forget all that. Oh, when I told my pastor in the past, church people knew, they used me for example, they called me on the stage, and people started chatting, Every time I tell people, the relationship goes bad. Sometimes the relationship goes bad because people are bad together. Sometimes the relationship went bad because people don't have relationship sense. Sometimes the relationship went bad because it was not meant to be. It's not because you told people. Sometimes maybe it's because you told the wrong people and they gave you the wrong advice and you applied it. So telling people is not the issue. It's the people and what you do with what they tell you. Do you understand this? Yeah, let me not say the other thing I want to say. Right? And then the last thing for the sake of this session is that, hi Folashade, good evening, welcome. And the last thing I want to say is, people don't ask enough questions. You don't ask enough questions. And even when you ask, like I hinted before, when you ask questions, you don't see the question through. You don't see the question through. I remember posting some months ago on my original Instagram account. And for example, a guy is about to get into a new relationship, and the person he's trying to get with now is asking him, oh, so what happened with your last relationship? Which is a brilliant question. A question a lot of people don't ask. A lot of people are afraid to ask, why did your last relationship end? I need to know. Was it marine spirits? Were they pursuing you in the night? Were you broke? Did you break her heart? What happened? Did your mother not like her? What exactly happened? Right? So a lady is asking, what happened in your last relationship? And the guy says, oh, she wasn't very supportive of my dream. She wasn't very supportive of my career. And then the woman is there thinking, oh, why won't anybody be supportive of a man's career? Don't you know you have to stand by your man when he's good and when he's not good? And you're even doing well. You're established. You have a nice house, a nice job and everything. Why would she want to support you? She just wanted my money, but she wasn't there for the long haul. And the girl just runs off with that. But I'm thinking to myself, why not push that question further? Why wasn't she supporting your dream? What are your dreams? What is this your career going? What does this your career entail? And then when she pushes further, she realizes that this guy is always on call. He's always 3 months onshore and 1 month offshore. And then when he's offshore, he's hardly around. He's always on his laptop. He's not making up for time lost. He's not spending quality time. He's still pressing laptop, making calls, sleeping. He's not overcompensating. So the baby's even like, okay, fine, you have to be away for 3 months per time, but when you come back for that 1 month, can you make it really, really extra special? And the guy is going, oh, you are nagging, why aren't you understanding? This is my time to rest. Don't put too much pressure on me. You are supposed to be taking care of me. I've been working all this while, and me, I don't dey pluck mango for tree. Right? So you need to ask questions. And sometimes this is also why you need counseling, because sometimes you don't even know the questions to ask. This is why you need to read books, because sometimes you don't even know the questions to ask. This is why you need to watch videos. You know, another mistake people make is, this marriage thing is not that deep, Jerry. Just be friends with the person. Once you guys are friends, everything is cool. Hey God. How do Yoruba people say it? I know Eshemi. I be how they say it. I'm just laughing. Yeah, counseling is overrated. Our parents did not do counseling. Yeah, how well did they do? Really? It's not that big a deal. I mean, I've known this person for 10 years. We grew up together. We are pretty much brother and sister. Maybe you should leave it at that. Because if you try to make it a relationship, it might be tales of lamentations and woes. Right? Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't. I mean, this is my job. This is my job, and I hear things people say. I hear things people don't know that are obvious to me. I know the tears people cry. I know the frustrations people face. You might not even know all the questions to ask. And this is why it is critical you get counsel. This is critical you read books. It's critical you listen to messages. You know, sometimes couples come in and ask them, okay, so what has your relationship entailed? What books have you read together? What relationship messages have you listened to together? How many of my posts have you read and analyzed together? And a good number of times it's a lot of stammering, and we plan to, we're going to, and all. Sometimes it's just one person who has, and sometimes they just brush up because they know I'm going to ask them during the session. So guys, please, these are 5 mistakes you should not make. Do not rush in, and rushing is not always a function of time, like I said. Don't get into a relationship to get to know the person. Get to know the person, then get into the relationship, right? Get counsel. Counseling is not just for premaritals or when you're married. Get counsel even before you get into a relationship, because like I said, the success of a relationship sometimes is in the relationship not happening, right? Or the relationship breaking off. Yeah? Don't keep your relationship a secret. Don't say we're just keeping it to ourselves. You want everything to be set. You want all your plans to be finalized. That's the problem. Your plans might not crystallize because you don't have all the materials to make it crystallize. Or when you feel it's crystallized, I will come and poke at something and all the crystals will just scatter. Get counsel. Even if you are getting it right, there's nothing wrong with getting an opinion. You can't lose anything by getting counsel. Good counsel. You don't lose anything, right? And then finally, ask questions. But beyond asking questions, don't be satisfied with the first answer of the question. Ask the question in the question in the question. I'm begging you. Ask the question in the question in the question. So for example, with my husband, when I met him, he was super itinerant. Super itinerant. I mean, he could be speaking in 6 places in a week. Sometimes he would travel 3-4 places in 10 days. And so I had to ask a question. When you travel out of state, how long will you be gone for? So you already know now, usually I'm gone for 3, 4, 5 days. On a normal level, I've just said, okay, really and truly, he goes for 3, 4, 5 days. But I had to project into my future. I expect you to grow. I expect people to want to hear you more. I expect the anointing and the graces on your life to grow. I expect you to do tours at some point. So it cannot be 3, 4, 5 days for the rest of our lives. There will be times it will be a week. There will be times it might be 2 weeks. There will be times it might be different countries and different cities. There might be times where you're supposed to land in America and America is cancelled and UK opens up suddenly. What happens? How long can you be gone for without me? And we decided once it's 3 weeks, I must fly in. You cannot be without me for 3 weeks in a stretch. And this is why for my own family, we cannot do husband and children or wife and children, or husband or wife are relocated to go and prepare the ground. We cannot do it. And that's a discussion we've had, and it's very clear. We can't do it. We are all going to go and find out how it will work. We are not going anywhere. I'm just saying. We are all going to go and find out how we can relocate. You are not going to relocate to find out. Nah. Right? So there we have it, guys. We've done 30 minutes. yeah, I'm going to put this up so you can watch again. If you have any questions, now is a good time. Now is a good time. Hi, Oge. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Yeah, so for those of you who do not know, Kings is coming to the island, or going to the island, because I'm not there right now, right? It's going to the island. Kings is my church. And for those of you who may not know, the White Paper Pastor is my pastor. He's my husband, Damiolo Atuimbo, and he does actually pastor a church, and we're on the island. So if you can check my stories, you see all the details. If you can, please, I would love for you to visit us, lunch with us, celebrate with us, thank God with us as we launch our very first service on the island as Kings. I'd really love for you to be there. If you do not have a church, or you're new in town, or God is leading you to move into another space, we would love for you to come and see us and see how the Lord will lead. But whatever happens, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, but whatever happens, please keep us in your prayers. Just keep praying for us. Right. So we're Kings on the Island. You can check us out on Instagram, but you can check my stories for the details, the location, the time, and all of that. All right, guys. In the absence of any questions, I will be saying hi, Kosi. Kosi, we need to talk. I think I sent you a DM. You know, answer me. We need to talk. Hey, Lawyer Debs, ma binu see me. I started following you today, but I know I owe you a voice note. Right? Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for coming. Please try to get some rest. I know Saturdays is hardly a weekend anymore in Lagos. So yeah. All right. Have a lovely night. I'm available in my DM for questions. Whatever are you calling Jesus? Please send me DM, Joe. Have a lovely night. See you guys next week, Friday.